Good afternoon. It's October 30th, I do believe. 2018, the day before Halloween. Appropriately, well, it's supposed to be lousy weather tomorrow on Halloween. So this is the day before Halloween, Hallows Eve. I don't normally celebrate Halloween because actually it's a celebration of evil. Well, at least I felt that all along. Even as a kid, I said, well, what are you celebrating evil for? Anyways. In many ways, it's the same thing as climate change. Now, the Conservatives are pulling back on that cap and trade deal where they make gas more expensive and then kick back if you don't use any. And if you don't use any, you'll get more money for what you didn't use. It's weird, but apparently it works. But you know, I'm getting annoyed. You get these guys like Doug Ford and Howdy Doody Shear, the Howdy Doody without freckles. And you get conservatives in the States who say climate change doesn't exist. And then you got the pro guys like Suzuki calmly giving out the news. Well, Suzuki isn't all bad. At least that's what he thinks. But he does a cause no service. You know why? Between you and me? Because he's too freaking nice. I've watched climate change. All the science was there in 1967, as early as. In fact, I think I found out in grade 10. They taught us that in science class. And they said, well, here's something about global warming. And there was this article that they pulled out. And climate change, I think it was in the National Geographic at the time. So we knew about climate change like 50 friggin' years ago. And back then it said, oh, we got some time. If we do this, we do that, we'll be okay. And that's what cap and trade does. That's what the Kyoto Treaty did. Problem is, guys, Suzuki's nice because he wants to keep his nice CBC cushy job. He gets about, I guess now he must be getting $500,000. Man, he doesn't want to give that up. No, he'd rather. He's making good money and he drives around in a diesel burning bus. Fuck. Yeah, okay. And I am telling you something, guys. We're too nice. Here's the reality. The United Nations just put out a report saying that we're going to hit the critical point in about as early as 10 years, maybe 30 years. And what's the critical point? You see, this has been understood since I was in Father Ziffel's class in 1969, where we took a Catholic priest taught climate change in science class, in geography class. We're too nice about it. It's time to get mean. This cap and trade bullshit. And I understand about and I'm not against the pipelines. I'm all for the pipelines. But those stupid tree huggers don't understand that the Oil is a commodity with more uses than just friggin' fuel. We need a oil pipeline anyways. If we want to have a healthy economy, we need to pipe out oil. Do we need the Alberta sands? No. I could go into that later. Maybe that's part of the mean problem. We'll give you another mean one on the frickin' oil sands of Alberta. Because they... Oh. See, people aren't mean. This is a reality, guys. It's proven scientific fact. The climate scientists have tested it out. It's been tested out by NASA. It's been tested out by planetary. Like, you know, they search the planets and they study like places like Venus, which has hothouse gases. And this planet Earth is quite capable of becoming another Venus. People don't understand that. Once there's a critical point where it starts cascading. You have so much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and then all the things start melting. And for instance, in the permafrost, there's all this methane in the Canadian Arctic and the Siberian Arctic. You got something called permafrost, and that has locked away a lot of rotted vegetation, locked in the ice. Global warming will free all of that stuff all of a sudden. It'll be like a cascading effect. It'll melt the ice in Greenland, it'll melt the ice in the Antarctic. And this is scientific fact. It isn't some things like, oh, we aren't this, it isn't proven, our God will protect us. Fuck off, man. No. Global warming on this planet is a probability. Not a probability even, it's going to happen. And there is a cascade effect. If the ice in the Arctic melts, it'll free up a lot of methane, or like carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. And methane is the worst, believe it or not, more of a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide is. It's going to be a cascade effect. So what is going to be the effect? If we enter a spiral phase, what they call the spiral phase, it can get out of control. Then we can't control it. Right now, we can control it. At this moment, we can control climate change. But the shorter it gets, the less control we have. We'll be into a cascade effect 2 years before we know it. That's the way climate science works. By the time you collect all the data, it's 2 years. What can you do? You know what's going to happen? For instance, if we go into, society goes to climate change, or a cascade effect, it's a cascade you really got to worry about. Because then it's under control. It's like jumping out of an airplane and, oh, you forgot the parachute. The cascade effect is there's too much gas in the atmosphere, and the rate of melting will cause more methane and heating of the oceans. Extinction on the planet of all the species will be about 90-95%. 6 to 8 billion people within 30 years will be dead because of starvation. You'll be able to go to No Frills and have no food. There'll be no food on the shelf. Seriously. Where are you supposed... Climate change means desertification of the West and drought. It means big storms. We already see storms. This year, 3 Category 4+ storms have hit the North American continent, and 2 in Asia. And that's above what it should be. No, it couldn't be anomalies, yeah, and statistics, but these aren't right because remember, it started with Katrina. Every friggin' year we've had a Category 5 in the Caribbean someplace. It's wiped out Puerto Rico. They're still recovering in Puerto Rico, probably because Americans don't care about the American citizens. So if they speak Spanish. But what I mean is, your kids will face the worst effects of climate change. Me, I'll be dead. I'll be dead. So it won't affect me, but it will affect my kids. My grandkids, if I have any. That's doubtful. We have to protect this planet because it is our fault it's going to hit a cascade. Now it will kill maybe most humans, if not all humans, eventually. There'll be just no food. There'll be no bugs. There'll be no fish. And it's very easy. It can happen. It has happened on this planet before. We came this friggin' close. I think it was the Permian extinction. We don't know what happened there. Well, it's 250 million years ago, so no, we're just being too nice. What will happen is that you will have to face starvation. Fuel costs are going to go like 10. Everybody be fuel rationed, including your kids. Which means if I go to the store, I buy something, there'll be a fuel tax on that. It comes off my fuel ration for the year. Yeah, everybody will have a fuel ration. Yeah. Heating and fuel, whatever, it goes into your gas tank, well, that comes off. You want to drive far, you get a cold house. You want to keep your house warm, you drive a lot less. Seriously. You're looking at rationing. You're looking at a fixed value of, I guess, carbon units or fuel units per person on this planet. And we're more likely to encounter that before we encounter starvation and food. And I mean food starvation. On the good figure, if you got no food, you don't have to ship it. If you don't have to ship it, you don't have to burn fuel with transports carrying it. So something has to be done. Thank you. Remember, climate change is now your problem. Nobody else's.